Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome back to the Fumble Live. We have a great show in store for you today before we head into the weekend. So subscribe to our channel, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. Here's the Fumble Squad. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward.
What's up, everybody? I'm Jackie Ray. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JRayTheFanatic.
What's up, guys? Happy Friday. It's your girl, Britt. You guys can follow me on all social media at @IamBrittJohnson.
Okay, you guys, let's just jump right in with this first news story. I really want to hear your thoughts. So Jackie McMullen joined the Ryan Russillo podcast, and she was recalling an argument that she had with Kyrie several years ago. They were apparently debating the draft, and Kyrie argued that players should be able to go to any team that they'd like to go to because they aren't, quote, someone's property. And then Jackie fired back and said, basically, yeah, you are, dude. That's the way it works. That's why you get paid millions of dollars. We have the audio right here. So, Leo, can you play that for us right now?
About, something. And he's like, well, there shouldn't be an NBA draft. Players should be able to go wherever they want to go. We're not, someone's property. And I'm like, yeah, you are, dude. That's the way it works. That's why you get paid all these millions. And so I really think in Kyrie's mind, I think the effects of the Capitol, I think the effects of the Jacob Blake shooting, I genuinely believe those things affected him. They bothered him. He felt like we are not putting importance where it belongs. These things are more important. I really believe that.
So obviously people took issue with the fact that she, fired back at Kyrie and implied that athletes are the property of the league because they get paid so much money. I feel like she had to have known that this wasn't going to go over well. This does not sound good, and she's received a lot of criticism for this. So let's talk about it. I don't want to share my opinion too much. I'd like to hear what you guys think about it, then I'll chime in afterwards. But Jackie, what is your reaction to her comments? Do you think she deserves the hate and criticism that she's been getting?
Oh yeah, she needs to take that heat. She deserves every piece of that heat that she's getting. The thing, I always break down audio when I hear stuff like this because you can hear, like, she took a pause. She took a verbal pause to gather her thoughts and say what she wanted to say, and then still came out with, yeah, you are, dude, your property. And then followed up with, okay, he sees what's going on in our country, meaning the racism and things that we're still fighting in this country. That sentence doesn't go together. You don't say that a black man is property in one beat and then the other beat say, the racist ways of our country is affecting this man, and then just keep going on all willy-nilly like it means nothing. I'm not at all surprised by the comment, and I think she genuinely thinks that. I've heard this said by a lot of people. She's not the only person I've heard say this. My dad, rest in peace to him, that was always his thing with sports. Diehard sports fan that he is, he always felt like the athletes were treated like property and they were treated like slaves and they had no voice. So now that we're in this new era where especially in the NFL, but obviously the NBA has been leading the charge in that. The NBA is the first one to kind of hear the voices of players. So now that we're kind of changing that narrative, you still are going to get these old mindsets that are like, no, you do what we tell you to do. You go where we want you to go. That's not real life, though. None of these players that are out there have to play. None of them, yes, they're under contract. They can break that contract. They can, like Britt said, he could retire if he wants to do something else. He doesn't have to do anything. James Harden proved that you don't have to honor your contract. You can raise so much hell that they will move you on. No one is stuck in a situation if they don't want to be stuck in a situation. And for her to say that any human being in this world is labeled as property is more of a testament of where her mind is than it is anything that she was actually talking about. And it's unfortunate because whatever points that she brought up after that were irrelevant, because now we got to talk about, here's this white woman that thinks this black man is property. Now we have to talk about that. And that's just, I have, no respect for her at all in this. And she's a seasoned journalist. It's not like she's some, fresh out of college kid that said this. She's a seasoned journalist. If anybody should have known better, it should have been her.
Yeah, it was just bizarre to hear those statements because you could apply that same thinking to everyone and everyone's jobs, and no one else is expected to be treated or to assume that they're property. Athletes get paid the big bucks because they make the league the big bucks. So
Right.
I just feel like there's this kind of strange disconnect there. Britt, do you feel that a lot of people view athletes in this way, and how do you feel about Jackie's comments?
I think most people view athletes this way, honestly. So I'm not surprised that she did say that, because that is just how, I mean, every athlete has been sold to us in a sense as a commodity. When we're looking at their stats for the draft, we're looking at, here's their height, here's their weight, how fast they ran the 40, here's what they did in like the shuffle, like all this kind of stuff. We're looking at those numbers, and it is like you're buying and selling something. It's a commodity. It's like not the person that you're looking at. It is, what can they do for you? We always say at the NFL is a "what have you done for me lately" league. It is. It's so I see how people see it like that. Even when players leave teams and the jerseys are burned and stuff, you don't own that team. You don't own that player. Even if you're a fan of the team, like that is not a player that you own. So I get kind of why she said it, because that's honestly how it's viewed, how it's looked. And I've talked a million times about it. Has just been recently that free agency has even been a thing in the NBA. Usually how it used to go, the owners did technically own the player the duration of their career. They could decide to trade them wherever and however they wanted to, and then free agency entered. So now obviously we're entering different mindsets, because now we're barely starting to see players really even take advantage of free agency and decide to do what they want to do. Even the moments now, seeing James Harden sitting back and I'm not going to play, or I don't really care to put my full effort until you guys trade me. I think Kawhi Leonard kind of started that kind of movement of like, if I don't feel in a place where I feel comfortable, I ain't playing here. And he kind of started that and got sent where he wanted to go, which was the Raptors, and ended up winning a championship with the Raptors. So I think the mindset of players is changing now first, but I don't think it's changed yet within like fan bases or within, the media, or even within the ownership group. Obviously, it's the players that are starting to realize their power and like, hey, if we don't play, there ain't no league to have, so they're really starting to notice these moments. So I do see us getting to a point, I don't know, I feel like it would be probably 20 years out maybe, that we would not have drafts anymore, and it would be like the same situation with college. And I could see it working like how when players go to college, they literally have all these colleges coming and going on recruitment trips, and they're getting, bedazzled and glittered up and all this kind of stuff on their recruitment trip, and then they get to pick where they want to go play college at. I could see the NBA kind of transitioning into something like that, but I get why it's been this way for so long, and it's hard to even notice, like, wait a second, we are treating them like they're property and that they're whatever, and not even, understanding or noticing what we're doing in this moment. But the players now noticed it, so now it's going to be something that is going to be probably demanded. And where I know there's some players that are going to want that moment where I'm the first overall pick of the NBA draft. I remember when Isaiah Austin found out a couple weeks before the draft that he could not go into the NBA because he had a heart condition. And the NBA, Adam Silver had him as an honorary draft pick, because those kids love that moment of being drafted and being drafted at a certain number, because then it goes on to show how much money you're going to make. I talk about it all the time. How high you get drafted in the draft determines how much your guaranteed money is going to be that first contract that you get. So now we take that away. There's a lot of things that need to be changed, obviously, in order to make what Kyrie is saying happen. But I do think we'll get to that point where we're not going to be in a space anymore where there's even going to be a draft. But I think there's a lot of things that need to be moved around before we get to that.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
That's what started the argument between her and Kyrie, between Jackie and Kyrie. Kyrie was like, there shouldn't be a draft anymore. You know what I mean? Players should be able to decide where they want to go, which, again, going back to LeVar, that's the genius of what he wanted to try to do. He wanted to put so much power into the athletes' hands that they could have more of a say going into the league. But that's what I say about Kyrie all the time. His mind is so forward thinking sometimes that I think he just feels stuck and stagnant when things aren't really moving fast enough in this timeline that he's on. But that's literally what started the conversation or the argument between the two of them. And that's what's going to happen when you have this forward thinking thought process and you're speaking to someone who's stuck in the way things are, and they think the way things are is the way they always should be. This is what happens. So again, I'm not surprised by it. I think she should take that heat, but it's just the nature of where we are right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, for sure.
I just think that anytime you imply that a human is property, it's not going to go over well, especially when you're referring to a league of athletes that's mostly black men. Like it just, I froze. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it was just insensitive, and it was just like come on, like you've been doing this for a while, so you have to know that that's not the right thing to say. That's not the right thing to even imply. It just, to me, it was surprising.
Devin, I think people notice that now in 2020, in 2021. But this conversation, number one, happened a couple years ago. And then she basically was referring to the point that even in that moment, a couple years ago, Kyrie already had issues with it before people were even being on this train of like racial equality and we shouldn't do this to black people. Kyrie was already feeling like that, like most black people are already. We were already in that moment. She wasn't in that moment yet because most white people weren't in that moment yet. White people were not in a place to even talk about it. We barely started talking about it, barely started realizing, we actually shouldn't be like just looking at people and saying whatever, you should do this and you are a property of whatever and you're getting paid millions of dollars, so just be quiet. When she said that she was in her full right, and probably anybody else would have said that in that moment, in that situation. Kyrie was a forward-thinking person. Kyrie was just a black man actually just speaking what a lot of other black men were feeling at that moment, and he was having a conversation with a white lady. So I think in that moment, there's probably a million other reporters that we could say would have said the exact same thing as her. And then we're fast forwarding to now, and now all these people, probably even her too, realizing, okay, that kind of was whatever, which is why she kind of started trying to change it and be the social justice stuff that's happening now. And now she's trying to understand why Kyrie felt the way he did a couple years ago. Like, I understand why she's feeling this way, because most white people were saying the same thing like 2 years ago.
I don't know if I agree with that. She wouldn't say it now. I don't think that the mindset has changed that drastically in 2 years.
I don't think she wouldn't say it now. I'm saying I think that's why she added the part of Kyrie being with the Black Lives Matter and the Capitol stuff, because she has to now.
Right. I think what is one of the obvious differences in this situation is, we've talked about it all the time, like Black people, we don't have these moments that often because we're trained basically from birth to code switch. We know that when we're in corporate America, things of that nature, there's just certain things that we can and cannot say. We might go home to the dinner table and say it, but we know when we present publicly, we can't say anything that might offend, especially white people. White people are not trained that way. They kind of have that privilege that they can just go about life saying whatever they feel, and then it's going to be accepted. So I think for her, the backlash might be a little bit unnerving to her, because she's like, well, I don't get it. What do you mean? Like, they're under contract, they're property. There's hundreds and thousands of people that don't even play in a sport, don't have an athletic job, that are under contract, that are not considered property. But she just doesn't think of it that way because she doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Let's jump into the next news story, you guys. I want to talk really quickly about Odell Beckham Jr. Because he posted a very bold statement on his Twitter account. So he is obviously not going to be going onto the field this weekend when the Browns go up against the Kansas City Chiefs in the divisional round of the AFC playoffs, but he is comfortable making some bold predictions on his Twitter account. As you can see right here, he tweeted, "Don't be surprised this weekend when they win, just throwing it out there now." So OBJ has made these kinds of grand statements before on social media, and they haven't always come to fruition. In fact, I think they rarely do, but it's good that he has faith in his team, although it is an interesting time for him to come out and say this kind of thing when he's not even going to be on the field. He's not even going to be able to contribute to the game. But hey, I like a supportive teammate on the sidelines. So Britt, let's talk to you first. Do you feel like this is a say less moment for OBJ, or do you think the Browns actually have a shot?
Me and Jackie actually talk a lot about this kind of stuff in our weekend zone that you guys can check out tomorrow. Shameless plug there. But
Right.
I think that the Browns have been talking a lot this week. Granted, it's been mostly directed towards the Steelers, but I feel like they might have not learned the lesson that the Steelers learned last week, and it might come jumping down on them because I mean, they're a 10-point underdog in this situation, so people aren't really expecting them to win or even really come that close to winning in this situation for the game. But yeah, I mean, me and Jackie both kind of said we are rooting for the Browns, so we hope this is correct. But I don't know. I think you say that's what you say. He's not playing, so yeah, he's going to support his boys and be like, no, I bet y'all won't be laughing when we win and all this kind of stuff. So say what you say, Odell. Say what you say.
Now, Jackie, so I'm sorry that you guys are repeating yourself if you talked about this on Weekend Zone, but this is a fresh conversation here. I haven't been able to hear your thoughts, so I want to know what you think about this, Jackie. Is this too cocky coming from a guy who's not even going to be able to get on the field with his teammates, or is it fine for him to go out there and make a grand statement like this?
No, it's absolutely fine. It made me sad a little bit because you guys know how much I love Odell Beckham, and I'm like, oh damn, he has to make this and he can't even get out there, and play with his team and impact the game. And I have been praying for him and Baker to be the kings of the North for a while, and now they're at this moment in time where the kings of the North is actually looming on the horizon and he can't be a part of it. And so it kind of made me sad in that way. But no, this is exactly what he's supposed to say. Telling you right now, if you and Britt do something and I'm like, oh no, Devin's about to win, Britt's about to win. You might not have ever played that game, but I'm be like, nah, they about to, because that's what you're supposed to do. We're on a team. Yeah. I'm supposed to root you on. I'm supposed to cheer you on. So this is the best he can do, and he can do it from the sideline. So go ahead, Odell. I'm just sad that he can't be there.
I know. I'm sad about it too, but I'm with you.
The Browns might not be there though, because they started playing a lot better once Odell was not playing, unfortunately. So,
yeah,
just saying.
That's true. I'm with you guys 100%. I feel like this is a great thing for him. I think that if you're not able to play with your teammates, you might as well hype them up on Twitter, on social media, on the sidelines. So I'm here for it. I like it. But if the Browns do not win, is this tweet going to haunt him forever? Is this the kind of thing that people are just not going to be able to let go? Britt, what do you think?
No, just because he's not playing, like everybody's expecting, like you're supposed to be there, like from the sidelines or from, Twitter and shouting out your boys and stuff like that. So if the players go in and say certain things like, oh, the Chiefs, who are the Chiefs? Peasants, like if they did something like that, yes, because that's exactly what Juju basically said to the Browns, and then the Browns went and crapped all over them. So it's not that kind of situation. This is literally like, oh, I'm rooting for my boys. Like, if they lose, whatever. But of course he's going to support his team. So I don't think he's going to get any backlash if they don't win.
Yeah. Hope not. All right, you guys, I'm going to wrap up Need to Know News now. So, Jackie, can you take us into the post-up?
Yes, I am excited for the post-up going into the weekend edition. Are you guys surprised that we're about to talk some more about James Harden? If anyone is surprised by that, go ahead and let me know. But here we go. We got some James Harden to start this off. James Harden has said goodbye to Houston. I do not like this goodbye at all. He went to his Instagram and then he posted this long, first of all, let's just get into it. He says, what can I write? What words can convey all the ways I feel? First of all, actions speak louder than words. You could have actually played well. You could have still won it out, but you still could have gone out there and averaged more than 16 points a game. But I digress. Let me finish reading what he said. Houston, you welcomed me with no guarantees. You took a leap of faith, and it changed my life and the lives of my family forever. The organization this city has given me everything I could ask for. Yes, they did. And you still, let me try to get through this. Let me go back. Where did I leave off? Okay, before the scoring titles, long before MVP, you believed. For that, I am forever indebted. The city opened its arms and welcomed me and my family as one of its own. And for that, I'm forever indebted. I gave my mind, body, and soul until the end in hopes of bringing the glory to the city. I fell short, and for that, I'm forever indebted. There's a lot of debt in this post. It's far from a goodbye as I pay all my debts. How are you going to pay this debt? Are you coming back? Like, I hate this. There's nothing about this goodbye that I like. It's all contrite. None of it seems sincere to me because none of your actions leading up to that make this sincere. So I went to his Instagram and expected a lot of people to feel like I did and was like, nah, you playing games. You didn't do. Look at that. All that love. It was like respect. A lot of people called him a GOAT. Lakers in 4. I see you. I like that. And then we love you, James Harden. There was so much love, so much outpouring of love in his post. I'm not entirely sure if these aren't burner accounts. I just can't see every Rockets fan having this kind of love when his actions did not coincide with his goodbye. Britt, do you buy this? Do you buy that Houston is like, oh, we love you. We wish you the best? It doesn't seem real to me.
First of all, checks in the mail for his PR person that wrote that.
Right.
And doesn't know a darn thing about basketball and hasn't seen what has transpired over the last year. Because that is not what James Harden did this last year. So I don't know. Maybe they also paid people to comment and say some stuff.
Right?
I mean, James, if you want to send me a stack, I'll write a nice comment as well. Just Venmo me, I am Britt Johnson, and I'll send the most beautiful. I'll call you the GOAT. I'll say you're better than MJ for the day. Like what you need. What you need.
You're gonna have to sign an NDA. You're never gonna be able to release them receipts, and you can't go back on your word and say that now. I was just kidding about that. If you're willing to sign that, I bet you that when you open your phone, you're going to see some money.
I'm going to need more money for that one, though. I need a little bit more money for that.
That is hilarious. I think Britt's right. I think some people got paid to make these comments. There's just no way. I'm not even a Houston Rockets fan. You know I love James Harden, but his behavior at the end was ridiculous and so unprofessional. I don't like it. It's actually so bad that it's made me agree with somebody that I absolutely cannot stand. You guys know that I do not like Papa John Shaq, Shaquille O'Neal. He's not my guy. He's just not my guy at all. But when I tell you he was spot on his assessment of this whole goodbye, listen to what he had to say.
You asked for Dwight Howard. We gave him to you. Didn't work out. You asked for Chris Paul. We gave him to you. You asked for some shooters. We gave it to you. We asked for Westbrook, your homeboy from Little League. We gave him to you. It didn't work out. And when you say I gave you everything, I say no, you didn't. Because the last 5 games, when it comes to elimination, you're 1-4. You've been shooting 41%, 24% from 3, 32 assists, and 27 turnovers. I used to be like James. I used to come home and complain, man, he didn't do it. And my father, rest in peace, Sergeant Philip Harris, used to say, but what the hell did you do? He ain't do nothing. He ain't step up when he was supposed to step up. So, you know, when you're the man and you make all the money, you make 30, 40 million a year, it's a big responsibility. Chuck has said this many times. When you're the man, you got a big responsibility. It's all on you. So when it comes time to show up, he ain't show up. So I know a lot of people in Houston glad he's gone. So now he got his little super team. He got to win this year. If he don't win this year, it's a bust, period.
I don't have nothing to follow that up with. Shaq dropped the mic and kept it pushing. He's 100% right. James Harden did not do all the things that he said he did. And now if he goes over here to Brooklyn and doesn't perform, once again, what have I said? James Harden, you're the common denominator. This is so... I'm just over this James Harden situation. But look, one thing I am glad about is I'm so glad that an AD has signed his big contract. It was very important timing that he signed it when he did, because you guys know how you look at social media and one like, and you'll throw out these rumors that, oh, is he trying to team up with Brooklyn? it's ridiculous what y'all do. So I'm so thankful that he signed his big contract. So y'all cannot say that, but take a look. And here is this picture that AD liked. I don't know if y'all can see it down there on the top. It says Anthony Davis, 23, liked the picture of James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant. It means nothing. I think this user kind of nailed it on the head. Like, okay, Lakers have nothing to worry about. The Brooklyn Nets are going to reach the Eastern Conference Finals. I could argue that part, but you don't have to hate on anybody. That's what James Harden wanted. You see the picture, you like it, he got what he wanted. But I am not going to leave this topic without giving a shout out to this person who did a fat joke. He said, who's the player in the middle? He looks like a half-size James Harden. I appreciate the shade on that one, because James Harden does look real. That is not, I don't know who that is. That is not the James Harden that just played last week or week before last in Houston. But okay. Photoshop. Y'all are really good at that. I love it. But look, let's get to this next one, because those of us who dwell in the kingdom, I think I'm the super fan. I don't know. You guys might not agree. I think I'm the super fan, but we all know Cuffs the legend. He is considered a super fan. I have a love-hate relationship with him. He's been very disrespectful to Vanessa Bryant, and I just don't like a lot of the things that he has said, but KD got at him, and I wanted to try to defend him, but I can't, because I still, like I said, I have that love-hate relationship with him. But take a look at this. KD, he put that same narrative that, KD's trying to build this super team and blah, 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 blah. And KD said that narrative's tired, G. You think we have to prove something to random people who's been watching us for a decade that we're good at basketball? And then, of course, Cuffs the legend, he responds back. He says, legacy already solidified to real basketball minds, but to average fans, they still want to see y'all without the stacked deck. And then Katie responds back, says, you're an average fan, which I know that had to hurt. Anybody who considers themselves a super fan, being called average, that has to hurt. But both of these people are tripping. KD and Cuffs the legend is tripping, because nobody wants to watch a team full of average players. Nobody wants to do that. We want to see the crazy stuff, like I'm going to hit a bunch of threes in a game. We want to see the crazy dunks. We want to see all of that. We want to see a dope squad. We don't want to see a bunch of average guys playing, but whatever. I think KD, he deserved that. KD is not coming from his burner account. So that's a plus. Britt, what did you think about KD's comment? I think that this whole back and forth was completely unnecessary, because I think they're both wrong, but I'm not mad at Cuffs getting kind of served on this one.
Okay, what I'm going to need Kevin Durant to do, because he is so good at like getting under people's skin and making them say stuff on social media. Message a comment to your boy Kyrie and say some outlandish stuff, Katie. Say like, hey, you a clown for showing up. Where you at, bro? Whatever. And I bet Kyrie will clap back on the thing, because Kevin Durant it doesn't matter who it is. He knows how to go back and forth with the best and the worst of them. I don't care about this conversation. Kevin Durant, send this message, put all your energy in your teammate, and message him in the comment section of one of his posts so we can get an answer from Kyrie. That's all I'm asking for.
I really need y'all to start watching the Fumble, because we be giving y'all golden ideas to kind of make your life easier. Come on, people. All right, let's get into this next one. Because Kent Bazemore, he's not one of the names you'll hear us talk about a lot. He's kind of been a journeyman. He started his career with Golden State in 2012, and since then he's been all over the place. He's been with the Lakers, he's been with the Hawks, he's been Portland, Sacramento, back to the Trailblazers, back to Portland. He's been all over the place, but now he's back to Golden State. And so I love to see guys who can kind of poke fun at themselves and then at the same time make their teammates shine, because he posted this to his IG stories, which I think it's so cute. He says, a combined 6 NBA championships plus 2 MVPs plus 9 All-Star appearances plus Defensive Player of the Year plus 13 Vegas Summer League championships in one picture. Because guess who won the 13 Summer League championships? I thought that was the best. When people poke fun at themselves, I love it. It's all in fun. It is what it is. And I think that he's appreciated as well, because a fan posted how he misses him. He goes, I miss his jokes and energy with the Hawks, but I bet he's glad to be back with the Warriors. See, when you have that good energy, I would believe people wishing him well. People wishing James Harden well, I'm telling you, those are burner accounts. I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. But I've said it before. I probably will say it again and again and again. LeBron James is probably this is the most relaxed I've seen him. I think he was a little bit relaxed in Miami, but still he had something to prove. This is the most relaxed I have seen him since he came into the league at 18. This is insane. He's just having a good time. And he's also somebody we know he likes to crack jokes. He's been able to laugh at himself in the past. And so he's going to laugh at himself again. You guys remember Mark Phillips. Mark Phillips last season when we were in the bubble. Last season when we were in the bubble, he made that video of LeBron James busting into people's rooms, screaming at AD because he couldn't get the three and making everybody go to practice in the middle of the night. He is at it again. And he's addressing this James Harden situation. I had to post the whole tweet so you could see LeBron's laughing at it. And it's a great tweet. It's a minute and 20-something seconds long, so I'm not showing you the whole thing. But watch this. This is great.
Man, I know, because look at this. Look, remember when I did this? Bang. Come on. You know what it is. Hey, wait till after practice. You see me practicing right now. Come
James
on
Harden went to the Nets today.
Wait, James Harden went what? To the Mets?
The Nets.
The Mets?
Look.
James Harden went to the Nets?
Yes.
So is James KD and Kyrie?
Yes.
I'm 36! I'm 36! Why is it always everybody versus me? I'm not Thanos! Golly! Let's stop throwing the ball! Man! I can't keep doing this, I'm tired! I just beat the Warriors!
And you see what LeBron said. He says, I'm 36, stop throwing the ball. And I see you see squared. That was the part that got me too. He's like, I'm not Thanos. But the best part of this is if you see it to the end, he's like, get Kyrie on the phone, get Kyrie on the phone. Somebody hands him the phone. He has Kyrie on the phone, and Kyrie is just standing in the corner. LeBron's talking, but Kyrie says nothing. So go watch it. It's a fun video, and no wonder why LeBron James laughed at it. This guy, I love his videos. I can't wait to see what else he's doing. But again, Rockets fans, I don't believe you. I don't believe that you guys went on to James Harden's page and gave him all that love about, oh, we're going to miss you. I don't believe you. I don't believe you at all. And I'm going to prove to you why all of those posts were fake. Because there was a point in time where you could think, if you're a Houston fan, you could think, you know what, James Harden is going to stay here. And he gave you reason to think that because he's planning on opening his restaurant 13. 13, obviously, is the number of his jersey. And you would think now that he's leaving, now that he pouted and cried and did whatever to get out, you would think maybe that's not a thing. But the spokeswoman for the restaurant, she said, quote, our entire staff and team are looking forward to providing top-notch service and bringing a one-of-a-kind dining experience to Houston. And I did look at the menu, y'all. It looks really, really good. And it looks really, really expensive. So I don't know. I don't know about this one. But let me just say this. One fan just said, let me go ahead on and get onto Yelp right now and just make this what it is. And he gave them 1 star off top. This is so funny to me because he said, I brought a very attractive lady in for a date and the owner started throwing dollar bills at her. When I asked him to stop, he said swag with an eye roll and left to open a pizzeria. Y'all, the shade is so much. And then he goes on, he goes, doesn't quite have the championship taste and started strong, but really disappointing at the end. This was hilarious to me. I was like, okay, guy, you got it. But you know how it goes. The internet is undefeated. And once one guy starts a trend, here comes everybody else to follow because now this guy comes up there and he goes, owner doesn't know how to cook it up in the open court and then doesn't have the championship taste. And then I ordered about $150 worth of food and the chef decided to walk out of the restaurant with my food burning on the grill. Y'all, can y'all, the amount of shade, the internet is so undefeated. The reason why this is cool is because you guys know by the time this restaurant opens, I don't know the exact date. I think it's like the 27th or something like that. It's supposed to open. It's going to already have 1 star review on Yelp and a ton of reviews about how trash it is. This is hilarious. I saw people on Yelp saying that they were going to boycott it just like he boycotted trying to win. This is hilarious. Okay, y'all win that one for sure. James Harden, I'm sorry, you deserve all of that. And how is he going to do this? Obviously, he has a team of people managing it. But one of the reasons why athletes open restaurants is so they can make appearances. Is he going to come back and make an appearance at the grand opening? Britt, do you think he'll do that?
Sorry. I was writing my Yelp review. Sorry.
No, you weren't, Britt. So petty. Petty adjacent.
Yeah, he about to be back in Houston all the time, just like he's always in Arizona. Like he barely went to college there for a little bit, and then he still is in Arizona all the time too. He's gonna go see his favorite strippers, and he's gonna be in Houston still for sure. Off season, he's probably gonna live there still. So
yeah, but to go to the opening, if it's okay, because LeBron was at the opening of Blaze Pizza, so. If it's opening on the 27th, this will be interesting. I doubt he'll be at the opening. He'll probably be the summer reopening, the summer relaunch. Yeah, something like that.
Or whenever they play, when does the Brooklyn Nets play Houston in Houston? I don't know.
Girl, I don't care enough about Brooklyn to know they schedule like that. I don't know. I'll have to look that up. All right. Let me get to this last one of post-up because this one is so heartwarming to me. I got a little teary-eyed when A'ja Wilson of the Las Vegas Aces from the WNBA, she was surprised by her team and the commissioner, and she won the WNBA 2020 MVP award. I thought that was so dope. It was a touching moment. She was so emotional. I got a little emotional. It was all of that. But I only know there's one other person, and I forget her name. She's a soccer player, but there's one other person that I know of that has a statue, a female that has a statue. It doesn't happen. We hear about, Shaq getting a statue. I'm sure at some point LeBron will get a statue. All these people get statues, but we rarely hear of a female getting a statue. And I tell you guys all the time, representation matters. So I am so proud to tell you that the University of South Carolina has unveiled a huge A'ja Wilson statue. It is so dope. Yahoo Sports tweeted about all her accolades at first. They tweeted, she's got the NCAA championship, NCAA tournament, most outstanding player, national player of the year, 3-time SEC player of the year, 3-time first All-American team. And then, of course, with in the professional league, she's the WNBA MVP and WNBA Rookie of the Year. She's done so many things. She definitely deserves this. I want y'all to take a look at this statue. First of all, it's dope. That's just a side view. My favorite view, though, is it's right behind a waterfall. Look how beautiful that is. I was so touched and so excited to see this again because we just don't see this. We don't see this enough. And I just think representation matters. And I just think little girls everywhere need to see someone who looks like them that has a statue. So shouts out. This is so beautiful. I'm so excited about this. But let me wrap up this post up really quick. And I'm going to have to get into this next one, which is my what we not going to do, because this is kind of very similar to what we talked about earlier in the show with Jackie. I think this one, the one with Jackie didn't bother me that much because, it's just kind of the nature of the beast. This one kind of bothered me a little bit. And one of the reasons why it bothered me is because, again, normally you hear these kind of things with people that aren't endeared in any type of way to their teams. These are people that kind of have a disconnect. So she's a reporter. She has a disconnect from these players. It always gets me a little bit when somebody's in the trenches with these guys and they share some sort of, racist mindset. That's why I damn near cried when Drew Brees said it, because it just stings a little bit different. Now, if you are an old school football fan, or if you are like me and you just, when you can't sleep, you'll turn on 30 for 30 or Football Life, and that's what you watch when you can't sleep, then you probably know who Dick Vermeil is. Dick Vermeil has literally coached at every single level, from high school to junior college to NCAA Division I and to the National Football League. And he succeeded at every single level. So, of course, NFL did a whole documentary on him. It was A Football Life. I forget the exact title, but it was probably just Dick Vermeil. But one of the things that you probably know him for is he is basically the crying coach. He's a very emotional man. And part of that is just because not only his love for the game, but his love for the players. He cares so much. All of the players talked about how dope he was in the locker room. Kurt Warner said that he was always learning. like he was a learning coach. He would learn different and better ways to do it. He was a really tough coach, which people didn't always know about him because he was considered the crying coach. But he was just really dope at making everyone around him better. And I don't think we really hear that about coaches a lot. You know, coaches, they coach, but sometimes they don't get the one-on-one, or they'll let their offensive coordinator do one side and they just kind of do whatever. But to me, he is a very special individual. And he coached with the Chiefs. His last team was the Kansas City Chiefs, and he retired in 2005. And again, to me, this is a very special individual. I loved his story, the NFL life story. I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought his smile just seems endearing, and he even got emotional during that show because he's just an emotional person. So I've seen him lend his commentary to several shows that I watch. And again, because I didn't really know him back in the day when I first started kind of getting into sports and stuff, but once I really started watching the behind the scenes story, he's just a cool dude. Like I just have nothing but good things to say about him. So then TMZ gets him on and they want to talk about football. They want to talk specifically about Deshaun Watson and how Deshaun Watson isn't happy because the Chiefs have decided not to interview Eric Bieniemy and not give him any input like they said they would with the hiring process for that franchise. And you know, his answer was just so out of pocket, you know, especially since he's not the only one who has issues with the team. JJ Watt says he's been with the team for 9 seasons. He has no intentions of rebuilding right now. On top of that, this is a man who's been in the league long enough that he knows how harshly Black quarterbacks are scrutinized. He knows this. He knows that a Black quarterback could have the same stats as a white quarterback, but that Black quarterback is going to be scrutinized far greater. I've said it before, I've said it again. They have to work twice as hard to get half the credit. That's just normal life. That's just the world we live in. I'm not trying to argue that point. But when it's a coach like Dick Vermeil and he's asked a question like, hey, what do you think about Deshaun Watson? What do you think Houston should do? Because he's like their guy. He is the man in Houston. And if he's not happy, what do you think they should do? And his response was just troubling. And I'm just going to quote. He says, well, I think they change his diapers, okay? Now, here is nowhere in his contract does it say he is involved in the decision-making, who coaches or who leads the organization. And I think when players get outside of the role of what they really are, he's a great NFL football player and always has been a great kid, but I think he just shuts his mouth and becomes a better football player and lead the football team and let the leaders of the organization lead him. This is very much a shut up and dribble type comic. This is very much a you're the property, you do what you are told kind of situation. And the reason why this bothers me is because, again, I've heard him several times and I've listened to him enough to know that if this was Tom Brady who said he wanted in on the hiring process, he would say, well, yeah, Tom Brady's the GOAT. If he wants in on the hiring process, you let him have in on the hiring process. If it was Josh Allen or even Ryan Tannehill, which obviously are not at the caliber of Tom Brady, I think he would say the same thing. I would think he would say, well, hey, you know, that just shows these guys are invested. They want blah, 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 blah. He would make some sort of excuse on why they should have a say in what's happening with the team that they are playing on and that they want to succeed. And I know this because I've seen him say similar things about people in the past, and you just don't flinch because even if whatever job that you work on, if it's a job that you're passionate about, you want it to do well, you want it to succeed, and you want to have input on it. That's why they have employee feedback days. And almost every job, on your yearly review, they ask for employee feedback. And sometimes if your job really gives a damn about the employees, they will take those to heart. Every job has that. But because this is a Black man fighting against the racist ideals of an organization that is deeply rooted in racism, the same way our country is, now Dick says, shut up and let the white folks lead you. And whether he knew it or not, that's exactly what it sounds like. It's like, don't fight against the good old club, the good old boys club. Just shut up and let us lead you. And TMZ was smart enough to turn off the comments on their YouTube page, but I did go to several others that did not. And let me tell you, people are saying that they're saying it's a woke culture, that Black Lives Matter is not more important than them going out there and playing football. So I want to say this. What we're not going to do, Deshaun, is we're not going to listen to the subtle racism that has been surrounding you as of late. We're not going to hear people say that, oh, Black Lives Matter doesn't matter. Get out there and do your job. We're not going to listen to people say that woke culture is toxic, because it's not. You have so many people that love and support you and understand that you are trying to change the narrative for the betterment of people who look like you. And I think that is an amazing quality. Please keep fighting for equality in the hiring practice in the NFL, because the league is very comfortable to let that ride if we let it ride. So we need you. We need you to do what you can to go out there. Your voice matters. Your life matters. Equality matters. Texas is always going to be Texas, though. So I will say, if you can, get out. But normally I write people like Dick Vermeil off. You guys know that. I don't accept apologies. I think people are who they are, but I'm not going to do that in this case. So what I'm not going to do is write off Dick Vermeil, because this is the same man that has been very open that when he was playing in college and they went to Denver, ironically, where I'm from, and players were basically issuing racist attacks and this fight broke out against their black players, he fought with them. He's the one that said, hey, all this social unrest in our country is probably a good thing because it's going to push the needle forward. But I think sometimes, especially when you're 84, maybe your privilege peaks up a little bit. I don't think he meant it in the same way that Jackie meant it. I think that it definitely does speak to who he is, because like I said, he wouldn't have said this about a white quarterback, because he hasn't said it about a white quarterback in the past. But sometimes those ideals, whether you are conscious of, if you're not making an intentional effort to subside those thought processes, sometimes I think they creep up. And I think that's all that happened here. He's 84. I think that some privilege just creeped up. I think he should apologize, and I would accept it, because I think deep down inside, he's a good guy, and what we're not going to do is hold this against him forever. So that's all I've got to say about that. We're going to wrap this up, and now we're going to get into a new segment that I am excited. This is all Britt's idea, and it's so great, because now we're going to get into Fan or Foe. Devin is left for the day, but it's going to be me and Britt getting into this.
We are here for the first ever Fan or Foe segment. It is Fan or Foe Fridays. If you guys missed it during the week when we were kind of promoting it, we basically have taken comments that you guys have asked or just commented on throughout the week, and we're just going to address them here. I think this is going to be so fun. This is going to be our every Friday. At the end of the show, we're going to just chat with y'all and read some of these. And I mean, some of them will be fans that will say great things, and some of them will be foes that will say terrible things, but we're reading all of them. We're going to get into them. Let's just get into these. Let's get into these, Jackie. Trey, why is she moving so much? I don't know who he was talking. Probably me. That was you, Jackie.
Me. I told y'all in the chat why I was moving so much. My damn computer, the battery was going dead. The charger was over there. The plug is over here. And I was like, I'm here by myself. How can I make this work? Yeah. So it was either go dead or figure it out. And I figured it out. Okay? I
was getting a little seasick with Jackie, because Jackie was like, underneath something. I was like, what? I was like, does she know she's on camera right now? Like, I didn't know if you knew you were on the screen.
I'm texting my producer. I'm like, do something, stall. I have an emergency. I have to plug in my computer.
Good question, Trey. That was a good question. This next one, Mamba Machine. You want to read this one, Jackie?
Yes. All I know is that this locker room is going to be toxic and full of shade. The three divas in Brooklyn are here. Y'all grab your tickets because it's going to be hella active. LOL.
That's the divas have gotten into Brooklyn. So I think basically he's agreeing with us, because we've been talking all week about the egos in the NBA and on these particularly this Brooklyn Nets team. And I'm nervous about it. I think it is three divas in one locker room. And you know how divas are. They want their own dressing room. They want their own space. They want to run their own teams.
Their own light.
Mama Machine again coming with the heat. James Harden did a totally different thing. I don't even know what he was talking about here.
believe that. I don't, Mamba, you in there? So what was you talking about? I don't
Mamba,
know.
what
I
are you
don't know.
talking about right there? Mamba Machine. Mamba Machine be coming with the heat sometimes. He is always good for a laugh and good for a good quote.
Oh, he's talking about the
Somebody said,
comparison to
I'm a touchy diva. I'm sure because he
Is
couldn't
what?
say the F word. Somebody just said, I'm a ducking diva because he can't say the F word. I'm actually not a diva. Do you think I'm a diva, Jackie?
Yeah.
Terrible decision by Kyrie.
That's a foe. That is a foe. Because that man does not know what Kyrie is going through. So I'm going to call that's a foe. A foe.
For sure.
You're a foe.
Yeah, I think we need to wait a little bit.
Everybody else is fans.
This one
so
said,
far.
I love Kyrie, but he goes off the rails too often. I think we probably have the same segment though, or same sentiment, because like we love Kyrie very much, but he do be like a little much sometimes. Sometimes I'm just like, oh, boo. Come on, boo boo.
He's eccentric. That's it. He's just a little different. Your rails don't line up to his rails, but he's on his own rail. He's fine. All right, let's see. Kevin Dixon says, I know we dudes make WNBA jokes, but it's kind of cool if a girl knows about basketball. I feel like that was one of those backhanded compliments. Because,
if you would have said this comment to football, maybe, because girls don't technically play football, I guess, but girls play basketball just like guys do, and the rules are pretty much the same.
Right.
So to say a girl knows about basketball, like Jackie played basketball. I did in elementary school. Actually, I threw the ball like this. I was really bad.
There we go,
how much a date? How much you got? Give me all your money, honey. Give me all your money, honey. I want all of it. Whatever you have, Venmo it to me. Put it in my account. I want everything you have. I'm taking it for all you're worth. I want everything. Because you know what I've learned? There are some really rich guys that are very selfish with their money, and they might just give you a little bit, or might just take you to a regular dinner because they're already going to dinner. I would rather have a man that gives me everything. Let me just take it all.
You can't say 2 seconds ago, I'm not a diva, and then go, give me all your money. You can't, girl.
That's not a diva. That's a savage. I'm a savage. Classy, bougie, ratchet. Atkins.
Oh, no. Oh, wow. Devin made it in. So say compelling things, we may shout you out. We may, or we may not.
Was that Devin's shade towards everybody? Like, if you're lucky enough, we will shout you out.
Diva.
But probably
That's
not.
a diva moment.
See?
I don't know.
And it rhymes. It makes more, it's a double D, Devin the diva. That goes.
Oh my goodness.
Right. The Nets team won't work out because Kyrie spelled his name wrong, first of all.
Right.
KD Harden. Right? That's not right. He spelled his name wrong.
Oh, no, he spelled it wrong.
K-Y-R-I-E. Yeah. Katie and Harden went 30 plus a piece. That's 90 points. That could win.
But that's going to win. But you ain't going to go out there and win if you have 90 points. Oh, Gary Turbo in the house with Brooklyn Nets, a.k.a. Three Stooges. No, that's okay. That's a lot. I mean, but you know what? The Three Stooges are still to this day. If you go back and watch black and white Three Stooges, they're still fun to watch. So I'm gonna go say that this is a friend. This is a fan because they're still entertaining.
Devin, I think you were better than Lonzo. Oh, probably LaMelo. Probably about LaMelo.
Oh, okay.
Like maybe the brother.
Oh yeah, that was about LaMelo. Yeah. So LaMelo is going to be better than Lonzo. I don't care either. Soho Karen meet capital Kevin. I don't know what that's about, but I love that comment. That is a fan to me.
I
Oh,
hope
the
it
Olympian.
includes
That was about the Olympian that
yeah,
went
yeah.
into.
Girl that's friends with the piano lady.
Yep. Yep. What was that? What was that last one? Says Jackie, do you still go hiking? Yes and no. Let me tell you something. So when I got back from Denver, because I live right by Runyon Canyon. So when I got back from Denver, I was mad paranoid about the virus because I was kind of, I wore my mask and stuff, but I was kind of lax about the urgency of the virus until I got back from Denver. But when I got back from Denver, I will hike all the way up to the canyon, but I am not going in. There is too many people in there. I turn around, but it's a really steep hill going into the canyon. So that's a thing. And then next weekend, we are going to find that hidden waterfall. I'm sure you know where that's at, Britt, that hidden waterfall. It's about an hour hike that you have to go to get into it. So I will be doing that next weekend. So long story just to say, yes, I still go hiking.
Hey, Britt. What's up, Rodney? Who's winning these Super Bowl? I'm sure you meant to say this Super Bowl this year. And will your Cowboys win division? And will Dak be these man in Big D? What? The man?
Okay, so
The
D and D.
yes. Dak, I think, is going to stay in Dallas. So to answer that, yes, I think he will be in Dallas come next season. What was the other question? Super Bowl. I'm not really one of those people that likes to predict the end. I mean, I hope you guys, whatever happens to your team, I hope it's not because of the refs this year, because y'all, for like 3 consecutive years, get knocked out because of a call by the refs. So I just pray that the Saints game is not reliant on a call from the referee. But I don't know. I like week by week predictions. So I'm not going to say who I want to win the Super Bowl until the week of the Super Bowl when we know the two teams that are going to be playing against each other.
Agreed. I bet you Curry does his shoulder shimmy after he gets some love. What the hell? Who wrote that? Devo?
In the bedroom? Why did he turn that into a word though? In the bedroom?
In the bedroom. I don't want to think about what Steph does in the bedroom, but thank you.
Rodney, this is for you, Jackie. You want to read your own? Or should I read it to you?
See, that's that diva tone. Should I read it to you? Hey, Miss Jackie, are the Lakers winning all again? If not, who would you want to win besides your team? No, yes, Lakers are running it back. There's no one else I want to win besides my Lakers. I'm still developing my love for baby goat, which is Luka, but it's not to the point where I want him to win yet. So it's growing.
Well, we're almost out of time. We'll do a couple more of these before we get out of here. You guys have been so awesome on these questions. Kaya Burke says, if this is going to work, Kyrie Irving has to be the third option, and he should adapt his game to a Klay Thompson type of player. Jackie, what are your thoughts on that? She just sipping her tea on that one?
I don't know. See, that's the thing about all three of these men. Whoever you put on the bench, like you said yesterday, one of them got to go. I think if you put Kyrie on the bench, he's just gonna go home. Like there's just not like he's just going home. He's gonna stay at home.
Yeah, so. You gotta get Kyrie to really show up to the game, and he's not showing up if he ain't starting. So, yeah. James Harden is not good leadership in basketball like LBJ.
That's a good one.
Jackie, is this one of your burner accounts? Is this a burner of yours?
I am not channeling Kevin Durant in any way, shape, or form. I do not have a bunch of burner accounts.
Jackie's burner account. That was Jackie's burner account. You guys, that is it for today. We are out of time. Thank you so much for all your fun, great questions. Keep them coming. You guys see what the show is, the segment's about now. We will be doing these every Friday. So we're collecting questions, though, from earlier in the week. So tune in. Not this Monday because it is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, so we will not be in action here at the Fumble. But Tuesday, come check us out, 11 a.m., and then make sure you guys write these comments, and you guys can then have your 2 seconds of fame on the fumble for fan or foe. You don't
Really?
know. I need to come up with a song for it.
Really?
All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Like, subscribe, join that Noti gang so you know when we're posting a video, and we'll catch you guys next time. Have a good weekend.